Hey guys, thought I'd do something different tonight. It's December 15th, 2019, Sunday. I figured I'd do something different tonight and talk a little bit about um, the drum gear that I used for my Beatle improvisation slash covers I've been putting up on YouTube. It's only going to be about the drums. I'll do the guitar stuff in another video. Um, So first of all, I guess I'll start talking about this kit right here. We'll start the tutorial gear demo with this kit. This is my Roland TDK 4PV electric drums by Roland. It's a very long title. Hopefully I got that right. Um, it's got mesh heads. These were not stock when I bought the kit. Um, they were replaced because they feel better. They have a better response, more realistic rebound with the drumstick, and they're actually a little bit more quieter in the recordings. The original heads, drum pads that were on the kit when I bought the kit, looked like this one over here I use on my floor tom. It was like this. It was this one, but there were two up here and one here. I didn't get another mesh head for the tom yet, for the floor tom yet, but I do have it for the snare and the two rack toms, or rack pads, whatever you want to call them. Like I said, better response, more realistic, and you can adjust the Roland or any really standard drum key. You can adjust the response or the rebound um, by loosening the keys or tighten them. And I just kind of have them set up to where I want them, where I just get a nice rebound, where I can drag the stick or roll or whatever. Um, just, I'm getting into a little bit of detail already. But anyway, so I don't want to digress here. So anyway, so here it is, the Roland TDK 4PV drums by Roland. This is my electric kit. It was originally a 5-piece kit. So snare, two rack toms, floor tom over there, hi-hat pad, cymbal pad over there. And if you look, I did add in a extra floor tom back there, that you see me use in some of the recordings. I don't use it all the time, but it's there when I need it. The reason why I have it back, I have another one, a drum back there, is because I needed another effect or another pad to hit. But with this particular electric kit model that Roland makes, you can't buy an additional electric pad or electric cymbal without totally rewiring the whole set and buying a new sound module and everything else. So I just have an extra floor tom back there. And that floor tom back there I just got recently, maybe about a month ago, month and a half ago. It is a Ludwig Classic Maple USA 14 by 14 inch floor tom in the classic Black Oyster Pearl, the Ringo Starr color, that is my favorite Ludwig finish all time. Not just because of Ringo, it's just a preference, just my favorite um, Ludwig wrap. And the head I have on there, on that floor tom over there, is a Remo. It's a Remo silent stroke head. So it's actually a mesh head, and the head is designed for um, low volume sound and for practicing. But you do get some tone out of the drum. It's just very low, very dampered sound. And for the kind of recording that I do, um, that's what I want my drum to sound like. Because I live in a small house and I don't have mics up on the acoustic drums, and so I don't use like real coated heads on there or anything. I just use a mesh head, which is the same material as the heads on the rolling kit. It's a mesh head. It's almost like a fabric, if you don't know what mesh is. And Remo makes these, and I think Evans drum heads make these too. These these silent stroke heads. They're mesh silent stroke heads. You do get some tone out of the drums, but it's very soft and very dampered down. But for the kind of, like I said again, for the kind of recordings that I do, it works, and it's just another effect that I have. That's an addition to the electric kit. And the cymbal that I use over here is that cymbal right there. That is a Zildjian LV80 low volume crash ride. All the acoustic cymbals that I use, you see me in a lot of videos using these cymbals. They're Zildjian low volume series cymbals, and they make a 20-inch ride, they make an 18-inch crash ride, they make a 16-inch crash, they make a 14-inch set of hi-hats, and they make a 13-inch set of hi-hats, and they also make a 10-inch splash in the low volume LV80 Zildjian cymbal series, which I have all of them. I have all the sizes and all the cymbals in that series. But this particular one that I use in the Beatle videos, this is my 18-inch Zildjian low volume LV80 crash ride cymbal, and the purpose of this cymbal complements the acoustic drums with the mesh heads, because obviously the purpose of these cymbals is to reduce the sound by 80%. That's where they got the LV80 term from. It reduces the volume in 80% compared to a real solid state cymbal. And if you look at it real close, it has holes in it. There's holes all over. You can see through it. It almost looks like it's like translucent, or same thing with the mesh head. You can actually see right through it all the way to the bottom of the drum. Anyway, I am getting into detail. I'm very a detailed person. And the chain I have on here, if you see, sometimes I have it on depending the song that I'm recording, the effect that I'm going for, or what I'm hearing on the recordings. Sometimes I use the chain and sometimes I don't. And it's a ProMark Sizzler chain, which I love. It's awesome. Because whenever I want that sizzler sound, I just pop the chain on there. I take the little washer off. I put the chain on there, and I got a sizzler cymbal. And I do believe that Ringo Starr did use sizzler cymbals on his kits, his Premier kit, and his very well-known Ludwig Black Oyster Pearl kits that he had. He had 4 of them, 4 Black Oyster Pearl kits. He had 2 20-inch bass drum Black Oyster Pearl kits in the early Beatle years, and then he had 2 22-inch bass drum Black Oyster Pearl Ludwig kits that he used obviously a little bit at the end of the early years throughout to like Abbey Road or White Album days. But if you do listen to some recordings, I do hear a sizzler cymbal, and if you look at some of the pictures of Ringo Starr, you can definitely see some rivets hanging from his cymbal. I don't know if he swapped his cymbals out, because some recordings it sounds like he's just hitting a regular crash or hitting a ride cymbal, and I don't hear no sizzler effect. But in some recordings, it sounds like he's using a sizzler. So maybe he swapped them out in certain recordings. But going back to my point, is that I sometimes use the sizzler chain and sometimes I don't, depending if I hear it in the recording. It's just what my ears hear in some recordings, and just something I kind of noticed. And this is a Ludwig Blue Olive Badge throne. That was very expensive, but it's a very retro, vintage looking drum stool. I had to get it. It was like $175. Down here on the ground, I use this once in a while. It's a this guy right here, this pedal right here. It's a reverb pedal. It's a very cheap reverb pedal. I got it for like $30 on Amazon, and it's actually a guitar pedal, but you can use it with the electric drums because it's an electric kit, just like an electric guitar. So you can use, believe it or not, you can use pedals on electric kits. I've tried it. I've done it. It works. It doesn't damage the sound or nothing. It's made for electric. So the only time I use this pedal is when I'm trying to get a particular kind of reverb sound. If you listen to a lot of early Beatle recordings, like the ones I've been doing, the studio stuff or even some of the live stuff, but in this case we'll talk about the studio, you can definitely hear like a reverb on Ringo's drums. So to get that sound, I just use this little guy right here, this little reverb pedal. I forget the company. It's not a well-known guitar pedal company. I just found it and I really needed a reverb pedal, but didn't want to put a lot of money out, so I got this for like $30. And I think it's like TC Electronics or T Cube or something. I don't know. I have the name of the pedal down in some of my videos, my Beatle drum videos. I did put it in the descriptions in some of the videos. So if you want to figure out the name of this pedal, click on some of the Beatle videos and look in the description for the drums, the drum videos I put up, and you'll see a little description what pedal that is and who makes it. I forget off the top of my head. Thought I had it on me before I made the video, but I didn't, but whatever. So that's that. And that's how I get my Abbey Road studio ambience effect, that reverby sound, or the other studios they recorded at, which was, I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if it's the same as Abbey Road or at Abbey Road, but they also recorded a lot of stuff at, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, Marconic Studios, which was a very big room. So to try to achieve that sound in the drum covers that I've been doing for the Beatles stuff, that's the pedal I use. And also on the kit, the actual kit here, I even have this labeled as The Beatles. I customize my settings on channel number 2 to sound as close as I can to Ringo's kit. So the toms and the snare and the hats and the cymbals, the cymbal pads, this one and that one, and this, and the toms and the snare. I tune them up to as close as I can to Ringo's kit. I have as you can see, I have a tuner on here. I have a muffler, and inside the actual sound module or settings that can adjust sensitivity of the pads, volume. There's also another ambience setting. I have everything set up to sound like Ringo's kit, as close as I could get it to, and depending on what album or what song I'm playing, I go through like a sound check on channel 2, the Beatles setting. That's what I label it as, and I just tweak different options in the menu selection to achieve that sound for whatever song I'm doing. And that's what's so great about this kit, is that you can set everything up how you want it, and it saves all your settings. So when you turn the kit off or you unplug it, you don't lose your settings. It's always at these settings, which is great. I just turn it on and play and record. And the only thing, like I said, the only thing I have to do is like a little bit of tweaking, maybe tune the tom up, maybe tune the rack tom up a little bit higher or a little bit lower, or same thing with the snare. Or I could swap cymbals out, even though he only used really 2 cymbals, a crash and a ride. But I can adjust the cymbals I want, or whatever, all through the sound module here. The other cool thing you probably noticed in some of the more recent drum videos that I've been putting up, with the Beatles stuff. Again, this is all about Beatles. This is all about the Beatles project I've been doing for the past 6 months, 5 months on YouTube. You probably noticed on some of the later Beatle drum videos I've been putting up recently, you hear a very squeaky sound, and that is because you're hearing that squeak from my Squeak King, which is the nickname of this pedal. This is a classic pedal. Every drummer should have this. This is a Ludwig Speed King. I bought it used on a great site that I recommend called Music Go Round. I got a good price on it, and some Speed Kings are kind of hard to find, and when you find them, they're kind of expensive. Or if you find them used, they're not in really a great condition. This one was in a very fairly nice condition. Has a great action on it, and has a good spring load tension on it, which is feels good for me. And I did not change the spring tension on it or the action. It came when I bought it used. This is how it came, just like this. All I had to do was clean it up. I had to lube up the springs with some 3-in-1 oil. I think it's called 3-in-1 oil. I lubed up the springs inside the pole pieces there on the right, and then on the left I just put a lot of oil in there. It looks like the person who owned it before me also put some kind of lube in there, some yellow sticky stuff, but it still continues to squeak in the recordings, which is very authentic, because the Ludwig Speed Kings are very known for that, to squeak. But they are great pedals. Very hot pedals back in the day in the 60s and 70s. All the drummers were using these. Ringo Starr, of course, the famous John Bonham. I think maybe even Ian Pace was using them. But now I know why they're called Speed Kings, because they do have a lot of power to them, and you can play fast with them. But they're very authentic Ludwig pedals. There it is, Ludwig Speed King, Ludwig. And the same day I got that pedal was the same day I got my Black Oyster Pearl 14 by 14 inch floor tom here. Got it on the same day on the same site, Music Go Round. Check them out. If you're really into Ludwig gear, they have tons of Ludwig gear for great prices. Because apparently where their headquarters or where their stores are located, they're located out in Chicago and Missouri, Greenfield, Wisconsin. It's a very hot area in the United States for Ludwig drums, and they just kind of throw them at you because Ludwig drums are just very popular out in that area. The next thing I want to show you is, this is the amp that I use. It is not a speaker, it's not a regular PA speaker, or it's not a Roland speaker amp. It's a regular guitar amplifier. That's what I use. It's a Fender Blues Junior tube amplifier, and I just have the drums right in there. So I have the drums going through the pedal board, going through my little mini pedal board, which is my reverb pedal here, and then on the I guess it's the input, and then on the other side of the output, it's just going right to the amp. So the drums go in the input, on the pedal, on this side, and then on this side you have this cable on the output running all the way back behind my chair over here into the amp. That's where the sound's coming out of. And it sounds great. And what's cool about using this amp, I have it on right now because I might do a recording after this video. If you look on the amp, it's cool because you have volume, treble, bass, middle, master, and you even have a reverb setting on the Blues Junior, and you can tweak them and get some nice drum sounds. You can get a nice warm sound. I tend to have the bass up to about 10. I have the treble on about 3. And I have the volume on maybe about 2. And then I have the master volume on 3 or 4. And most times I turn the reverb off. Sometimes I do use it, but I usually get the ambience reverb sound either from the sound module settings or the little reverb pedal I got over there. But you can get some nice tones, nice electric drum tones out of the Fender Blues Junior tube amp, and it sounds great. And then when you hear the music in the videos, all I'm doing is just very old school. I'm just playing it out of this. It's just a little boombox stereo, and I use CDs. I'm old school. I use CDs. I have a huge CD collection right there, and also in my room I have 2 big towers and some. I have a huge CD collection, and I just play the music over there, and I just play the drums along. That's it. Hit record on the video, and I'm off. Doing another recording. And to get a good sound with the drums not being too loud and you can't hear the music, or the music too loud and you can't hear the drums, you have to do I just do sound checks. I just try to sync up using my ears. I try to sync up the sound of my drums coming out of the amplifier, and I try to sync it up to the sound coming out of the stereo. And for some reason, with a lot of experiment and a lot of trial and error, to get the sound that I wanted, I have the drums set up here and the stereo set up here for certain reasons, for sound reasons, because it just sounds better in this part of the room with the drums here and the stereo right here at this distance, and then the camera is usually right here on this table. So so the mics on the camera are picking up the radio or the stereo, and also picking up the drums over here. It's just this whole area right here is just a good sound area, and I found out that this works the best with getting my sound. This was also an addition to the kit. This is I forget the model it is, but it's a Roland. It's a more realistic bass drum pad that Roland uses, or Roland sells, and that was also additional to this kit. When I first got the kit, it came with like this little pad. That's what this thing was for. It came with like a little pad, but it got worn out. It didn't even work anymore. The sensitivity was all messed up from playing so much, and also it's not as responsive as this. The only thing that's a pain in the neck with this pad is that it tends to move when I'm playing, which is very, very annoying. So I had to go outside, and I had to get a brick outside, and I put it in 2 plastic bags, and I put it on top so that this thing don't move. There's a good shot of the floor tom, Black Oyster Pearl. This Black Oyster Pearl wrap on this floor tom is Black Oyster Pearl. I don't know how good it looks on camera, but if you see it in person, the wrap color is slightly different than Ringo's. This was Ludwig, I think back in the 90s and sometime in the 2000s. Ludwig was making the Black Oyster Pearl wraps, but they came out with like this slightly retro looking Black Oyster Pearl wrap, which this looks a little bit different than Ringo's, but this is Black Oyster Pearl. It is a Black Oyster Pearl wrap. It's just a, it almost has like a little bit more blue in it. It's not a Blue Oyster Pearl. It is a Black Oyster Pearl wrap. This is almost like a combination of the 60s Black Oyster Pearl wrap, the 70s Black Oyster Pearl wrap, and then Ludwig's new version of the Black Oyster Pearl wrap. So it's kind of, this one's pretty cool. If you look at all the Black Oyster Pearl wrap Ludwig drums in the 60s, and then you look at them in the 70s, they were slightly different. Something about the color or the pattern in the wrap was a little bit different. But that's my little history lesson on Ludwig's Black Oyster Pearl wrap. Keystone badge. Right there. It says Ludwig, USA, Chicago on or whatever. I think that's all I'm going to talk about with this kit. I do have an acoustic kit. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. I have to end this video because it's really long. One more last thing. The cymbal stand that I use is a Ludwig. I use mostly Ludwig gear. I'm a Ludwig head. It's a Ludwig cymbal. Very nice cymbal. The sticks that I use are these ProMark. These are ProMark drumsticks with plastic tips. This particular one is a, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, Shirakazi Oak 7As. They're actually fairly light. They're solid, but they're fairly light. And they feel the best on an electric kit. Every drummer has a different preference. But me, personally, these seem to feel really good and sound really good on an electric kit. Very responsive. They're not too heavy. You're not wearing the pads down. If you use really heavy sticks on an electric kit, you're just wearing your pads down. You're just wearing them down. So I try to be delicate with the kit. And I use generally light sticks, plastic tips, or wood tips. I would probably prefer the wood tips, but in this case, these are plastic. So those are sticks. I've been using these sticks. These sticks are the famous sticks I've been using in every drum video I've ever put up on my YouTube channel. I'm still playing the same sticks. They have not broke yet. They're getting it chewed up, but that's another thing. Stick life lasts a lot longer, obviously, on an electric kit than it does on an acoustic kit over there, which I'll get to that one in another video. But these are the famous sticks I've been using in all my videos, all my good drum videos that you guys been watching on YouTube. And these are the sticks that were used on every Beatles recording I recorded so far. So here they are, the ProMark Shirakazi Oak 7A drumsticks. That's what I use. And I guess for this video, that's all I'm going to talk about. Again, thanks for watching my videos. A lot more videos coming up. I'm going to upload just a couple more Beatle videos for drums, and a couple more stuff for Beatle guitar stuff, and then I'm going to be working on a new project, which I'm not going to let you know what it is yet because I'm not too sure. But anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.